I'm Aaron, I'm 15 years old and I go to Rathkeale College in Year 10.
I'm Zahn, I'm 13 years old and I'm Year 9 at Rathkeale College.
I'm Timu or Taitimu, I'm 15 years old, I go to Rathkeale College and I'm Year 10.
I think the protection of the natural world is a really important topic recently, especially because we as one of the younger generations are one of the first generations to really start feeling and noticing the impacts that climate change and global warming are having on the world.
I think the protection of our world these days is very important because we are realising what is happening when we are not looking after our planet.
The environment is just such an important thing to protect because it's where everything in our world resides.
I think climate change is real. I think some things that tell us the climate change is real is the melting of the ice caps.
Climate change is real. Some of the facts or impacts that I know would be the ice caps in the North and South Poles melting, and then that causes the sea level rising, and we're getting increased weather and major weather events like flooding.
Climate change and global warming worldwide has been caused by carbon emissions sent up into the air for mass industrialization.
Carbon emissions, and yeah, just the rising of the seawaters.
It's increased the amount of natural disasters. It's also changed the habitats of many of the species worldwide, and it's just disrupting the habitats that native and endemic animals have been living in for thousands and millions of years.
Since we're one of the first generations that will feel and notice these impacts as everything in the world starts to get warmer and the global temperatures start to rise, we'll notice less snow in the winters and warmer winters, and then of course hotter summers, but shorter and warmer winters, which will then make a domino effect for more and more climate change and global warming.
Some causes of global warming are deforestation, which is creating more carbon emissions, which is slowly increasing our temperature, and probably the mass production of plastics, which is also increasing the carbon emissions.
I think that the recent extreme weather events do cause me anxiety, especially for our future, because it's our future that is being affected, and if we don't do anything about it, then for the next generations there won't be a future.
Yeah, I think the extreme weather events and the melting of ice caps does give me a little bit of anxiety, because as we see it happen, we can start to realise that if we don't start to do our part, this will continue to happen, and that's something that could be quite scary.
I think as a community worldwide, we've done a pretty good job of having a recycle culture and reusing in general. I mean, we've gotten rid of most disposable things like most harmful disposable things like plastic forks. What we need to do to mitigate it is just, as a community, do our little bits that we can.
As a community, I think we all need to pitch in, do our part to reduce carbon emissions.
Some new innovations that I can think of that will help decrease global warming are things like electric cars, which decrease carbon emissions, and hydrogen vehicles.
There is quite a few new inventions that I've heard of, especially in the engineering area, like new engines for cars that don't give off carbon emissions, like electrical engines and hydrogen engines. And then there's also things like, which are quite common, like wind turbines and other more carbon zero ways for creating energy.
Yeah, I can't really think of any new technology that could help as much as everyone doing their small part that they can.
A message that I would have for businesses and members of the government would be to implement policies and ways of reducing carbon emissions.
Some advice I could give to businesses and global leaders would be to try to put out the word about global warming to help people realise and understand what is happening, which then they can pretty much find out what they can do to stop global warming, which is something that is very important.
A message that I'd like to deliver to governments and businesses is just to make what happens about the waste that we have and all the emissions and the carbon footprints that we leave. Make the outcomes of those things available to us, because a lot of people don't know. A lot of people have no idea about it. Landfills, dumps, what goes into the oceans, what goes into the rivers, streams and oceans.
If I could make a difference, I would try and do as much as I can to reduce my carbon emissions. So not just biking or riding to school, but recycling, cutting down on waste and rubbish and disposable things.
Yeah, I'd probably do my best to inspire or tell people around me to do the little thing that they can, so eventually the collective could make an impact on something way bigger than you think it can.
If I could make a difference, I would continue to recycle, use less plastic and use more biodegradable materials, which will not only decrease carbon emissions, but it will be a good model to other people of what we can do to stop global warming.
I think a career path that I would like to follow would be a career in mechanical engineering, and following that, we could design and create new engines and vehicles that are better for the environment and carbon zero, and that are easier and cheaper just for people to buy as well, to make them more accessible.
I'm thinking when I'm older in the future about a career in building. I'm not too sure about what category of building, but I'm sure that with my knowledge of global warming, I could help to create machines or innovations that can help to decrease global warming and keep our world a nice and healthy place for everyone.